Hello, Psychot. Let's learn about the animal kingdom, their classifications and specifications. When you look around, you will observe different animals with different structures and forms. As over 1 million species of animals have been described till now, the need for classification becomes all the more important. The classification also helps in assigning a systematic position to newly described species. 4.1 Basis of Classification. In spite of differences in structure and form of different animals, there are fundamental features common to various individuals in relation to the arrangement of cells, body symmetry, nature of coelom, patterns of digestive, circulatory, or reproductive systems. These features are used as the basis of animal classification, and some of them are discussed here. 4.1.1 Levels of Organization. Though all members of Animalia are multicellular, all of them do not exhibit the same pattern of organization of cells. For example, in sponges, the cells are arranged as loose cell aggregates, i.e., they exhibit cellular level of organization. Some division of labor, activities, occur among the cells. In coelenterates, the arrangement of cells is more complex. Here, the cells performing the same function are arranged into tissues, hence is called tissue level of organization. A still higher level of organization, i.e. organ level, is exhibited by members of platyhelminthes and other higher phyla, where tissues are grouped together to form organs, each specialized for a particular function. In animals like annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, and chordates, organs have associated to form functional systems, each system concerned with a specific physiological function. This pattern is called organ system level of organization. Organ systems in different groups of animals exhibit various patterns of complexities. For example, the digestive system in platyhelminths has only a single opening to the outside of the body that serves as both mouth and anus, and is hence called incomplete. A complete digestive system has 2 openings, mouth and anus. Similarly, the circulatory system may be of 2 types. I, open type, in which the blood is pumped out of the heart and the cells and tissues are directly bathed in it, and closed type, in which the blood is circulated through a series of vessels of varying diameters, arteries, veins, and capillaries. For 1.2, symmetry animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry. Sponges are mostly asymmetrical, i.e., any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. When any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into 2 identical halves, it is called radial symmetry. Coelenterates, ctenophores, and echinoderms have this kind of body plan, figure 4.1a. Animals like annelids, arthropods, etc., where the body can be divided into identical left and right halves in only one plane, exhibit bilateral symmetry, figure 4.1b. 4.3 Diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Animals in which the cells are arranged in 2 embryonic layers, an external ectoderm and an internal endoderm, are called diploblastic animals, e.g., coelenterates. An undifferentiated layer, mesoglia, is present in between the ectoderm and the endoderm, figure 4.2a. Those animals in which the developing embryo has a 3rd germinal layer, mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and endoderm are called triploblastic animals, platyhelminthus to chordates, figure 4.2b. 4.4 Coelom presence or absence of a cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is very important in classification. The body cavity, which is lined by mesoderm, is called coelom. Animals possessing coelom are called coelomates, e.g. annelids, mollusks, arthropods, echinoderms, hemichordates, and chordates, figure 4.3a. In some animals, the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and endoderm. Such a body cavity is called pseudocoelom, and the animals possessing them are called pseudocoelomates, e.g. Aschelminthes, figure 4.3b. The animals in which the body cavity is absent are called acoelomates, e.g. platyhelminths, figure 4.3c. Figure 4.3 diagrammatic sectional view of A. Coelomate, B. Pseudocoelomate, C. Acoelomate. Those animals in which the developing embryo has a 3rd germinal layer, mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and endoderm are called triploblastic animals, platyhelminthus to chordates, figure 4.2b. 4.1.5 Segmentation. In some animals, the body is externally and internally divided into segments with a serial repetition of at least some organs. For example, in earthworm, the body shows this pattern called metameric segmentation, and the phenomenon is known as metamerism. 4.1.6 Notochord. Notochord is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development in some animals. Animals with notochord are called chordates, and those animals which do not form this structure are called non-chordates, e.g. porifera to echinoderms. 4.2 Classification of animals. The broad classification of Animalia, based on common fundamental features as mentioned in the preceding sections, is given in Figure 4.4. 4.21 Phylum, Porifera. Members of this phylum are commonly known as sponges. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animals, Figure 4.5. These are primitive multicellular animals and have cellular level of organization. Sponges have a water transport or canal system. Water enters through minute pores, ostia, in the body wall into a central cavity, spongocoel, from where it goes out through the osculum. This pathway of water transport is helpful in food gathering, respiratory exchange, and removal of waste. Choanocytes or collar cells line the spongocoel in the canals. Digestion is intracellular. The body is supported by a skeleton made up of spicules or spongin fibers. Sexes are not separate, hermaphrodite, i.e., eggs and sperms are produced by the same individual. Sponges reproduce asexually by fragmentation and sexually by formation of gametes. Fertilization is internal and development is indirect, having a larval stage which is morphologically distinct from the adult. Examples: cycon, sipha, spongella, freshwater sponge, and euspongia, bath sponge. 4.2.2 Phylum, Coelenterata, Cnidaria. They are aquatic, mostly marine, sessile or free-swimming, radially symmetrical animals, Figure 4.6. The name Cnidaria is The name Cnidaria is derived from the cnidoblasts, or cnidocytes, which contain the stinging capsules or nematocysts present on the tentacles and the body. Cnidoblasts are used for anchorage, defense, and for the capture of prey, Figure 4.7. Cnidarians exhibit tissue level of organization and are diploblastic. They have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single opening, mouth on hypostome. Digestion is extracellular and intracellular. Some of the cnidarians, for example, corals have a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. Cnidarians exhibit two basic body forms called polyp and medusa, Figure 4.6. The former is a sessile and cylindrical form like hydra, adamsia, etc., whereas the latter is umbrella-shaped and free-swimming like aurelia or jellyfish. Those cnidarians which exist in both forms exhibit alternation of generation, metagenesis, i.e., polyps produce medusae asexually, and medusae form the polyps sexually, for example, obelia. Examples: Physalia, Portuguese man-of-war, Adamsia, sea anemone, Pinatula, sea pen, Gorgonia, sea fan, and Meandrina, brain coral. 4.2.3 Phylum, Ctenophora. Ctenophores, commonly known as sea walnuts or comb jellies, are exclusively marine, radially symmetrical, diploblastic organisms with tissue level of organization. The body bears 8 external rows of ciliated comb plates, which help in locomotion, Figure 4.8. Digestion is both extracellular and intracellular. Bioluminescence, the property of a living organism to emit light, is well marked in ctenophores. Sexes are not separate. Reproduction takes place only by sexual means. Fertilization is external with indirect development. Examples: Pleurobrachia and Chitenoplana. 4.24 Phylum, Platyhelminthes. They have dorso-ventrally flattened body, hence are called flatworms, Figure 4.9. These are mostly endoparasites found in animals, including human beings. Flatworms are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and acolomate animals with organ level of organization. Hooks and suckers are present in the parasitic forms. Some of them absorb nutrients from the host directly through their body surface. Specialized cells called flame cells help in osmoregulation and excretion. Sexes are not separate. Fertilization is internal, and development is through many larval stages. Some members like Planaria possess high regeneration capacity. Examples: Tania, tapeworm, fasciola, liver fluke. 4.2.5 Phylum, Aschelminthus. The body of the aschelminths is circular in cross-section, hence the name roundworms, figure 4.10. They may be free-living, aquatic and terrestrial, or parasitic in plants and animals. Roundworms have an organ system level of body organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and pseudocoelomate animals. The alimentary canal is complete with a well-developed muscular pharynx. An excretory tube removes body wastes from the body cavity through the excretory pore. Sexes are separate, dioecious, i.e. males and females are distinct. Often females are longer than males. Fertilization is internal, and development may be direct. The young ones resemble the adult, or indirect. Examples: Ascaris, roundworm, Wuchereria, filaria worm, Ancylostoma, hookworm. 4.6 Phylum, Annelida. They may be aquatic, marine and freshwater, or terrestrial, free-living, and sometimes parasitic. They exhibit an organ system level of body organization and bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic, metamerically segmented, and columate animals. Their body surface is distinctly marked out into segments or metameres, and hence the phylum name Annelida, Latin annulus, little ring, figure 4.11. They possess longitudinal and circular muscles that help in locomotion. Aquatic annelids like Nereus possess lateral appendages, parapodia, which help in swimming. A closed circulatory system is present. Nephridia, sing, nephridium, help in osmoregulation and excretion. The neural system consists of paired ganglia, sing, ganglion, connected by lateral nerves to a double ventral nerve cord. Nereus, an aquatic form, is dioecious, but earthworms and leeches are monoecious. Reproduction is sexual. Examples: Nereus, ferridima, earthworm, and Hyridinaria, blood-sucking leech. 4.2.7 Phylum, Arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of Animalia, which includes insects. Over 2/3 of all named species on Earth are arthropods, figure 4.12. They have an organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, segmented, and columate animals. The body of arthropods is covered by a chitinous exoskeleton. The body consists of the head, thorax, and abdomen. They have jointed appendages, arthros joint, poda appendages. Respiratory organs are gills, book lungs, or a tracheal system. The circulatory system is of an open type. Sensory organs like antennae, eyes, compound and simple, statocysts, or balancing organs are present. Excretion takes place through Malpighian tubules. They are mostly dioecious. Fertilization is usually internal. They are mostly oviparous. Development may be direct or indirect. Examples: economically important insects: apis, honeybee, bombyx, silkworm, laccifer, lac insect. Vectors: Anopheles, culex, and Aedes, mosquitoes. Gregarious pest: locusta, locust. Living fossil: Limulus, king crab. 4.2.8 Phylum, Mollusca. This is the second largest animal phylum, figure 4.113. Mollusks are terrestrial or aquatic, marine or freshwater, having an organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and coelomate animals. The body is covered by a calcareous shell and is unsegmented with a distinct head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. A soft and spongy layer of skin forms a mantle over the visceral hump. The space between the hump and the mantle is called the mantle cavity, in which feather-like gills are present. They have respiratory and excretory functions. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles. The mouth contains a file-like rasping organ for feeding, called radula. They are usually dioecious and oviparous with indirect development. Examples: Pila, apple snail; Pinctada, pearl oyster; Sepia, cuttlefish; Loligo, squid; Octopus, devilfish; Aplysia, sea hare; Dentalium, tusk shell; and Chaetopleura, chiton. 4.2.9 Phylum, Echinodermata. These animals have an endoskeleton of calcareous ossicles, and hence the name Echinodermata, spiny-bodied, figure 4.114. All are marine with an organ system level of organization. The adult echinoderms are radially symmetrical, but larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic and colomate animals. The digestive system is complete with the mouth on the lower, ventral side and anus on the upper, dorsal side. The most distinctive feature of echinoderms is the presence of the water vascular system, which helps in locomotion, capture and transport of food, and respiration. and excretory system is absent. Sexes are separate. Reproduction is sexual. Fertilization is usually external. Development is indirect with free-swimming larvae. Examples: asterias, starfish; echinus, sea urchin; sea lily; cucumaria, sea cucumber; and ophiura, brittle star. 4.210 Phylum, Hemichordata. Hemichordata was earlier considered as a subphylum under phylum Chordata, but now it is placed as a separate phylum under non-chordata. Hemichordates have a rudimentary structure in the collar region called stomacord, a structure similar to the notochord. This phylum consists of a small group of worm-like marine animals with an organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and coelomate animals. The body is cylindrical and is composed of an anterior proboscis, a collar, and a long trunk, figure 4.15. The circulatory system is of an open type. Respiration takes place through gills. The excretory organ is the proboscis gland. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external. Development is indirect. Examples: balanoglossus and saccoglossus. 4.2.11 Phylum, Chordata. Animals belonging to phylum Chordata are fundamentally characterized by the presence of a notochord, a dorsal hollow nerve cord, and paired pharyngeal gill slits, figure 4.16. These are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, coelomate with an organ system level of organization. They possess a postanal tail and a closed circulatory system. Table 4.1 presents a comparison of salient features of chordates and non-chordates. Phylum Chordata is divided into three subphyla: Urochordata or tunicata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Subphyla Urochordata and Cephalochordata are often referred to as protochordates, figure 4.7, and are exclusively marine. In Urochordata, the notochord is present only in the larval tail, while in Cephalochordata, it extends from the head to the tail region and is persistent throughout their life. Examples: Urochordata, Ascidia, Salpa, Doliolum; Cephalochordata, Branchiostoma; Amphioxus or lancelet. The members of subphylum Vertebrata possess the notochord during the embryonic period. The notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or bony vertebral column in the adult. Thus, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Besides the basic chordate characters, vertebrates have a ventral muscular heart with 2, 3, or 4 chambers, kidneys for excretion and osmoregulation, and paired appendages, which may be fins or limbs. 4.2 to 11.1 Class, Cyclostomata. All living members of the class, Cyclostomata, are ectoparasites on some fishes. They have an elongated body bearing 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. Cyclostomes have a sucking and circular mouth without jaws, Fig. 4.19. Their body is devoid of scales and paired fins. The cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. Circulation is of a closed type. Cyclostomes are marine but migrate for spawning to fresh water. After spawning, within a few days, they die. Their larvae, after metamorphosis, return to the ocean. Examples: Petromyzon, lamprey, and myxine, hagfish. 4.2.11.2 Class, Chondrichthyes. They are marine animals with a streamlined body and have a cartilaginous endoskeleton, figure 4.19. The mouth is located ventrally. The notochord is persistent throughout life. Gill slits are separate and without operculum, gill cover. The skin is tough, containing minute placoid scales. Teeth are modified placoid scales, which are backwardly directed. Their jaws are very powerful. These animals are predaceous. Due to the absence of an air bladder, they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. The heart is two-chambered, one auricle and one ventricle. Some of them have electric organs, e.g. torpedo, and some possess a poison sting, e.g. trigon. They are cold-blooded, poikilothermous animals, i.e. they lack the capacity to regulate their body temperature. Sexes are separate. In males, pelvic fins bear claspers. They have internal fertilization, and many of them are viviparous. Examples: Scoliodon dogfish, Pristis sawfish, Carcharodon great white shark, Trigon stingray. 4.2.11.3 Class, Osteichthyes. It includes both marine and freshwater fishes with a bony endoskeleton. Their body is streamlined. The mouth is mostly terminal, figure 4.20. They have 4 pairs of gills which are covered by an operculum on each side. The skin is covered with cycloid ctenoid scales. The air bladder is present which regulates buoyancy. The heart is two-chambered. one auricle and one ventricle. They are cold-blooded animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is usually external. They are mostly oviparous and development is direct. Examples: marine, exocoetus, flying fish, hippocampus, seahorse; freshwater, libio, rohu, catla, catla, clarias, magur; aquarium, betta, fighting fish; pterophyllum, angelfish. 4.2.11.4 Class, Amphibia. As the name indicates, GR, amphi, dual, bios, life. Amphibians can live in aquatic as well as terrestrial habitats. Figure 4.21. Most of them have two pairs of limbs. The body is divisible into the head and trunk. The tail may be present in some. The amphibian skin is moist without scales. The eyes have eyelids. A tympanum represents the ear. The alimentary canal, urinary, and reproductive tracts open into a common chamber called cloaca, which opens to the exterior. Respiration is by gills, lungs, and through the skin. The heart is three-chambered, two auricles and one ventricle. These are cold-blooded animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external. They are oviparous, and development is indirect. Examples: bufo, toad; rana, frog; hyla, tree frog; salamandra, salamander; ichthyophis, limbless amphibian. 4.2.11.5 Class, Reptilia. The class name refers to their creeping or crawling mode of locomotion, Latin repere or reptum, to creep or crawl. They are mostly terrestrial animals, and their body is covered by dry and cornified skin, epidermal scales, or scutes, Fig. 4.22. They do not have external ear openings. The tympanum represents the ear. Limbs, when present, are two pairs. The heart is usually three-chambered, but four-chambered in crocodiles. Reptiles are poikilotherms. Snakes and lizards shed their scales as skin cast. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous, and development is direct. Examples: chelone, turtle; testudo, tortoise; chameleon, tree lizard; calotes, garden lizard; crocodilus, crocodile; alligator, alligator; hemidactylus, wall lizard; poisonous snakes, naja, cobra; bangaris, crate vipera, viper. 4.2.11.6 Class, Aves. The characteristic features of aves birds are the presence of feathers, and most of them can fly except flightless birds, e.g. ostrich. They possess a beak, Figure 4.23. The forelimbs are modified into wings. The hind limbs generally have scales and are modified for walking, swimming, or clasping the tree branches. The skin is dry without glands, except the oil gland at the base of the tail. The endoskeleton is fully ossified, bony, and the long bones are hollow with air cavities, pneumatic. The digestive tract of birds has additional chambers, the crop and gizzard. The heart is completely four-chambered. They are warm-blooded, homoeothermous animals, i.e. they can maintain a constant body temperature. Respiration is by lungs. Air sacs connected to lungs supplement respiration. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous, and development is direct. Examples: corvus, crow; columba, pigeon; psittacula, parrot; struthio, ostrich; pavo, peacock; aptenodytes, penguin; neophron, vulture. 4.2.11.7 Class, Mammalia. They are found in a variety of habitats: polar ice caps, deserts, mountains, forests, grasslands, and dark caves. Some of them have adapted to fly or live in water. The most unique mammalian characteristic is the presence of milk-producing glands, mammary glands, by which the young ones are nourished. They have two pairs of limbs, adapted for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming, or flying. Figure 4.24. The skin of mammals is unique in possessing hair. External ears or pinnae are present. Different types of teeth are present in the jaw. The heart is four-chambered. They are homoiothermous. Respiration is by lungs. Sexes are separate and fertilization is internal. They are viviparous with few exceptions, and development is direct. Examples: oviparous, ornithorhynchus, platypus; viviparous, macropus, kangaroo; pteropus, flying fox; camelus, camel; macaca, monkey; ratus, rat; canis, dog; felis, cat; elephas, elephant; equus, horse; delphinus, common dolphin; balanoptera, blue whale; panthera tigris, tiger; panthera leo, lion. We're done with the chapter revision. Now you have to take a look at the diagrams, tables, and highlighted lines. Best of luck. The basic fundamental features, such as the level of organization, symmetry, cell organization, coelom, segmentation, notochord, etc., have enabled us to broadly classify the animal kingdom. Besides the fundamental features, there are many other distinctive characters that are specific for each phyla or class. Porifera includes multicellular animals which exhibit cellular level of organization and have characteristic flagellated choanocytes. The coelenerates have tentacles and bear cnidoblasts. They are mostly aquatic, sessile, or free-floating. The ctenophores are marine animals with comb plates. The platyhelminths have a flat body and exhibit bilateral symmetry. The parasitic forms show distinct suckers and hooks. Aschelminthes are pseudocoelemates and include parasitic as well as non-parasitic roundworms. Annelids are metamerically segmented animals with a true coelom. The arthropods are the most abundant group of animals characterized by the presence of jointed appendages. The mollusks have a soft body surrounded by an external calcareous shell. The body is covered with the external skeleton made of chitin. The echinoderms possess a spiny skin. Their most distinctive feature is the presence of the water vascular system. The hemichordates are a small group of worm-like marine animals. They have a cylindrical body with a proboscis, collar, and trunk. Phylum Chordata includes animals which possess a notochord either throughout or during early embryonic life. Other common features observed in the chordates are the dorsal hollow nerve cord and paired pharyngeal gill slits. Some of the vertebrates do not possess jaws, agnatha, whereas most of them possess jaws, gnathostomata. Agnatha is represented by the class Cyclostomata. They are the most primitive chordates and are ectoparasites on fishes. Gnathostomata has two superclasses, Pisces and Tetrapoda. Classes Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes bear fins for locomotion and are grouped under Pisces. The Chondrichthyes are fishes with a cartilaginous endoskeleton and are marine. Classes Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and Mammalia have two pairs of limbs and are thus grouped under Tetrapoda. The amphibians have adapted to live both on land and water. Reptiles are characterized by the presence of dry and cornified skin. Limbs are absent in snakes. Fishes, amphibians, and reptiles are poikilothermic, cold-blooded. Aves are warm-blooded animals with feathers on their bodies and forelimbs modified into wings for flying. Hind limbs are adapted for walking, swimming, perching, or clasping. The unique features of mammals are the presence of mammary glands and hairs on the skin. They commonly exhibit viviparity.